Imagine being a football fan. You've supported your club your whole life. It's in your blood. You can't get away from it. And the only thing that you want for your team is success. And you get a bit of it. You get a day at Wembley. You get to see your team lift a trophy. You have one of the best times you could possibly have. And within 8-9 months, you feel like your club's just a complete shambles and a shadow of what it should be. Unfortunately, that's the reality that a lot of Southampton supporters are going through right now. And I've been putting off making this video for a long time because it just doesn't feel right for me to put a rant out there, like put my feelings on other people. But I've come around to it that a lot of us feel the same. A lot of us are feeling the same way. And we could probably do with a little bit of that therapy. We could probably do with listening to other people and how they're feeling. And, although there's bigger problems in life, we all know that there's a lot bigger problems in life than football. It's nice. It's nice to hear how other people see the situation, as well as yourself, because, football's a very, very personal thing. And some people are going to feel one way, some people are going to feel another. I've thought about so many ways I could format this. I've thought about how can I make this entertaining? How can I make this something people are going to watch? And I just think, just forget it. If you want to watch it, you're going to watch it. So, I thought, do I have to go over with a fine tooth comb of all the other games that we played recently and the slight marginal gains and improvements that we have made? And I just think, you know what? I'm not going to do any of that. This video, should you choose to watch it, I will be going over Southampton Football Club, just the state of it, the current situation, where we were to where we are now, from where we were last season to where we are now, from where we were when Sport Republic bought us to where we are now, and to where we were, what sadly is now 10 years ago in 2015-16, having the time of our lives. So what has changed in 10 years to put us in such a dramatically different place? Well, today I'm going to have a look at that and I'm going to have a talk about it. So if you are new, welcome. Please sub. I'm going to be shameless because it helps YouTube let other supporters know that I'm about, that may not already know, because haven't been particularly active, but it's enough's enough now. I need to get this stuff off my chest. So yeah, if you want to stick about, watch the video, make sure you subscribe, like, put it in your group chat. I don't care. Make yourself a cup of tea, sit back and listen to this moan and git go on about Saints for a bit. Imagine being a football fan. You've supported your club your whole life. It's in your blood. You can't get away from it. And the only thing that you want for your team is success. And you get a bit of it. You get a day at Wembley. You get to see your team lift a trophy. You have one of the best times you could possibly have. And within 8-9 months, you feel like your club's just a complete shambles and a shadow of what it should be. Unfortunately, that's the reality that a lot of Southampton supporters are going through right now. And I've been putting off making this video for a long time because it just doesn't feel right for me to put a rant out there, like put my feelings on other people. But I've come around to it that a lot of us feel the same. A lot of us are feeling the same way. And we could probably do with a little bit of that therapy. We could probably do with listening to other people and how they're feeling. And, although there's bigger problems in life, we all know that there's a lot bigger problems in life than football. It's nice. It's nice to hear how other people see the situation, as well as yourself, because, football's a very, very personal thing. And some people are going to feel one way, some people are going to feel another. I've thought about so many ways I could format this. I've thought about how can I make this entertaining? How can I make this something people are going to watch? And I just think, just forget it. If you want to watch it, you're going to watch it. So, I thought, do I have to go over with a fine tooth comb of all the other games that we played recently and the slight marginal gains and improvements that we have made? And I just think, you know what? I'm not going to do any of that. This video, should you choose to watch it, I will be going over Southampton Football Club, just the state of it, the current situation, where we were to where we are now, from where we were last season to where we are now, from where we were when Sport Republic bought us to where we are now, and to where we were, what sadly is now 10 years ago in 2015-16, having the time of our lives. So what has changed in 10 years to put us in such a dramatically different place? Well, today I'm going to have a look at that, and I'm going to have a talk about it. So if you are new, welcome. Please sub. I'm going to be shameless because it helps YouTube let other supporters know that I'm about, that may not already know, because haven't been particularly active, but it's enough's enough now. I need to get this stuff off my chest. So yeah, if you want to stick about, watch the video, make sure you subscribe, like, put it in your group chat. I don't care. Make yourself a cup of tea, sit back and listen to this moan and go on about Saints for a bit. Now, to pick up the pain of where we are right now, you have to understand where we came from. So our record season at the time was 2015-16. We'd accumulated, I believe, 63 points in that season. We had here's some of the squad for you, right? So we had Fraser Forster. Our backup was Martin Stecklenburg. We had Jose Fonte, Maya Yoshida, Jack Stevens, who's obviously still at the club, Virgil van Dijk, Stephen Corker. Now we know Stephen Corker didn't work out very well, but still, our fullbacks, we had Matt Targett, Sam McQueen, Cedric Suarez, Ryan Bertrand, Cuco Martina. Our midfield options: Victor Wanyama, Jordi Clasie, Oriol Romeu, James Ward-Prowse, Harrison Reed, Gaston Ramirez. And our forward options: Sadio Mane, Juanmi, Dusan Tadic, Jay Rodriguez, Charlie Austin, Graziano Pella, and Shane Long. That doesn't include some of the fringe players, and I forgot to mention Stephen Davis. That's actually outrageous. But forgot to mention a few of the fringe players there. I mean, our third choice goalkeeper was Paulo Gazzaniga, who I believe is now playing in the Champions League. So that's sort of where we are. You know, it's just you can't write it how good that side was. Like, I try to explain to people who are newer to Southampton, like being fans, like for example, my missus, who's been a proper fan for probably 6 years, maybe. It's hard to describe how good we actually were, because people don't believe it. That season we won 18 matches and drew 9. That's unthinkable now. We've won 1 game this season. 1. We won 18 matches. In the Premier League, by the way, alone. In the Premier League, we won 18, drew 9. It's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. We're just absolutely miles off. Now, here comes the part where things get slightly sour and start to go downhill, let's say. In August 2017, the Lieber family, who were owners of Southampton since, I believe, around 2009, Katerina, she decided to sell the club, the majority of the club anyway. It was an 80% stake she sold to the Zhao family, Zhao Zhisheng family of China. They owned Landa Sports Holdings, I believe. I'm just looking at a few of their stats here. So they bought the club for 210 million. They bought 80% stake in 2017. It was for 210 mil. During their ownership, there was no public record of the Zhao family making any additional financial investment into the club. So the Zhao family sold the club in January 2022 to Sport Republic, the 80% that they own, and that was for 100 million. Now, if we look at the transfers, for example, that we made in that time, from 2017 when they bought to January 2022 when they left, we have got a net transfer spend in that 4.5 year period of 27.8 million in the positive side. So the specific figure is, and that's euros, by the way, the specific figure is we spent 242.4 million on players and we generated 214.6 million in that period of time. Now, that is not a sustainable amount for a club to be a particularly notable club in the Premier League, which is what we were. We were a European club at one point. We were the Aston Villa, maybe not Aston Villa, maybe that's a bit too much. We were the Brightons. As much as Brighton fans don't want to hear it, we were the Brightons, we were the Bournemouths of the world. We were there like, wow, look at Southampton. Their recruitment's been superb. They're punching way above their weight. They're just amazing. And we just let ourselves get picked apart, frankly. We let it happen. We saw the money and we was like, wow, there's a lot of money to be made in this player sales thing. Why don't we just carry on doing this? Why don't we keep buying cheap players and they're just gonna turn out good and we can sell them for 85 million like Van Dijk. I know it's only euros, but still, we can sell them. We can sell them for world record fees, like we have been doing. Let's do that. That's a superb business model. It works. It did for a little bit. It did until it didn't. So let's have a look at the transfers during the Zhao family's time. Arrivals 2017-18. One arrival. Mario Lemina. Oh, two. Sorry. Two. Sorry. Mario Lemina and Wesley Hoot. Wow. 2018-19. Arrivals. Yannick Vestergaard, Mohamed El Yunusi. I should add that in 2017-18, we bought in Wesley Hoot to replace Virgil van Dijk. You heard that right. We replaced Virgil van Dijk with another Dutch centre-back from Lazio because we thought this guy's got to be good. He's Dutch, he's big. We spent 16 million euros on Watford's Wesley Hoot and was like, he'll replace Van Dijk. I couldn't even tell you a decent game Wesley Hoot played for us. At the time, I felt sorry for him. I felt like it was maybe a bit of a scapegoat and, he's new and I was wrong. He's crap. He was crap. And it looks like that we recognised that the following year, because we signed Yannick Vestergaard for 25 million euros again. 25 million euros for Yannick Vestergaard. In that year, we also signed Mohamed El Yunusi for 18 million euros, and we saw the departure of Dusan Tadic for 12 million euros. How pathetic is that, by the way? 12 million euros for Dusan Tadic, who, by the way, went on to play for Ajax and got into, Champions League semi-finals and won however many leagues with them, and we could only squeeze 12 million euros out of him. And he was on a decent, we'd signed him down to a deal. He wasn't on the end of his contract at the time, because I remember seeing a clip of Mark Hughes' old assistant saying that there was some sort of they'd done a gentleman's agreement, like a little handshake when he signed the deal, that if a Champions League club came in for him, he could go. Yeah, you can go if they pay the right fucking money. That's outrageously bad business from us. Terrible, awful. Anyway, 20 that was the 2018 season. 2019-20, Shea Adams, 16.7 million euros. Moussa Djenepo, 15.7 million euros. Got rid of Matt Target for just shy of 14 million euros. I think that was to Villa. Can't remember. So Shea Adams and Moussa Djenepo. That was that man. That was that Sadio Mane replacement that we were dying for. The one that he left in 2016-17 after the very good season. That was the replacement. Was Moussa Djenepo from the Belgian league. Brilliant. 2021, COVID hits, and we sell one of our best players again for not a lot, which was Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I do understand that the reason the fee isn't a lot is because we also had Kyle Walker-Peters coming the other way. So I don't actually feel bad about that transaction. I think that one's probably the best one out of everything that we did in this period of time. So we did that. We signed to replace Højbjerg. Obviously, we signed Ibrahima Diallo for 15 million euros. And we signed Mohamed Salisu for 12 million euros, which again wasn't terrible, but he was, in the end. Here's where it gets really funny. 2021-22, the season after Danny Ings comes, I think, second or third. It might have been third in the top goal scorer because Son and Salah were like fighting out that season, if I remember rightly. And I think Son won the Golden Boot. Danny Ings was hot on their heels. So he was obviously hot property, and we sold him for 26.48 million euros to Aston Villa. So obviously in the window we needed to replace him. So we did. We bought Adam Armstrong. Blackburn Rovers, Adam Armstrong. We bought 17.7 million euros. Roman Perot came in the same window, 12 mil. So I'm pretty sure that's not everything. That's just like that's a snapshot. I'm pretty certain there might have been a fair few more. I mean, I'm going off of the information I've found and I've trawled through. I'm pretty sure there could have been more there. So they did spend more, but 20 million. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. 20 million euros. That's awful. I can't get my head around it. That's awful. That is terrible, terrible business. And you know what? If things are going wrong, and I'll move on to this with Sport Republic, but if things are going wrong in terms of player recruitment, and you've seen it get progressively worse for, say, 3 years, 4 years running, do you not look at the people who are doing these things and making these calls and saying, that's not good enough from you? You should be doing better. You're getting paid to do better than this. Because if it was a player who was getting progressively worse for 3 or 4 years, he'd drop onto the bench and then you'd try and sell him and get as much as you could for him. I'm not saying we didn't. I know we've had our fair share of people coming and going. We lost Paul Mitchell, for example, who was a big reason we signed players like Sadio Mane and Virgil van Dijk, and I get that, but we don't seem to replace them very well. That's the problem. And I know there's not an absolute dearth of there is a dearth. There's not exactly a plethora of people you can choose at the moment, especially in terms of recruitment, because they're rare as rocking horse shit. People who are actually good at their job. They are rare as rocking horse shit. And that, again, understandable. If you're good, you deserve to be paid good. And only the big clubs seemingly are allowed to pay their staff well without being punished. So yeah, I mean, that was the Zhao era. So that then brings you on to the wonderful Sport Republic. So while we're on recruitment, we may as well start with Sport Republic's recruitment, because at the end of the day, when we come back to it, it's probably what we're all going to keep on coming back to, because it's what we see on the pitch, and it's what, frankly, you feel like the driving factor is for why we're in the situation we're in right this second. So I feel like it's only relevant to talk about it like that. So Sport Republic bought us in the 21-22 season. It was in the January, so they weren't responsible for the summer signings beforehand, but they were responsible for the January ones. Okay. Right. So these are the players that we signed that season. Now, again, only the ones in January Sport Republic can be held responsible for. And I can't remember which ones were January and which ones weren't. In terms of to be honest, in terms of player sales and player incomings. So players bought in that season, we had Tino Livramento, Adam Armstrong, Roman Perot, Lianco, Theo Walcott, Armando Broja on loan, Willie Caballero on a free, and that was it. And we sold Danny Ings, Yannick Vestergaard, Angus Gunn, Mario Lamina, Michael Obafemi, Ryan Bertrand, Wesley Hoot, Jake Hesketh, Dan and Lundaloo, Josh Sims, Sam McQueen, obviously retired, bless him. And we let the loans of Broja and that season Minamino run out. I believe Minamino was from the season before and it must have run out in the summer. That's why Transfer Market's showing that. But Broja, obviously, we let it run out at the end of the season. The first full season Sport Republic had control of the club. I feel like this was the season that we felt like our club's back. You know, we thought like the Jows, they never put no money into it. I remember the feeling. It was so exciting. That night, the night that they first arrived, and it was against Brentford at home and we battered them. It seems like light years away now. Absolutely light years away now. But it wasn't. And it was electric. And we were like, this first full season, they're going to smash it. I just know they're going to smash it. Let's see. So I'm going to try and pick out the ones from the summer and then go into January because I'm pretty sure I remember who joined in that January. In the summer. Here we go. Romeo Lavia. Tick. Gavin Bazunu. Armo Balakotchat at the time. Tick. Sekou Mara. Duya Chileta Sarr. Actually, I'm pretty sure he was. No, he wasn't January. He was the summer. He was close to deadline day, though. I know that much. Sam Adozi. Joe Aribo. Juan Larios. Mateus Liz. Maitland Niles on loan. And it looks like that's it for the summer. It's because it's ordered strange. Because it then tells you whose loans ended and so on and so forth. So in the January, I believe was Kamaldeen Sulemana. I'm going to reserve judgment on whether that's a tick or not because recently, Paul Nuachu, Charlie Alcaraz. That's a contentious one because was that a good signing or not? We made a little bit of money on him. When the going got tough, he went. Or was that his doing, or was that Russell Martin didn't want him? Hard to tell. Don't know. But he's gone. And he was gone to Juve as well. So, Mislav Orsic. James Bree. I think Breezy's an absolute bargain. I'm sorry. We got him for like 700k. That's a bargain. And we recalled Jan Bednarek. We chose not to recall Nathan Teller at the time. He was having the season of his life. Outgoings that season in Sport Republic's first full season. We got rid of Romeu, Nathan Redmond, Fraser Forster, Shane Long, Jan Valery, Jan Bednarek, Jack Stevens, Will Smallbone, Nathan Teller, Matthias Liz. Now, a few of those, and there's a few more, but they were like fringe players at the time, and obviously Smallbone went on loan that season, all X, Y, and Z. I remember saying at the time when they brought all these players in that were really young, I was hopeful because we had the likes of Romeu, Redmond, Shane Long, Forster. Although we kind of had an idea Forster was going to go because of the contract situation. We chose McCarthy, which I still... Anyway. I was confident because we had the experience, but we cleared every single bit of it out. We got rid of it. We got rid of players who not just knew the club but loved it, like Shane Long and Fraser Forster and Romeu. I mean, I'm sure Redmond did at the time as well, and I just remember feeling absolutely bewildered and just confused. Why would we do that? So strange. And that season it proved we were horrendous, absolutely horrendous. So then you move on to last season, in which we really had to balance the books, and boy did we. So who we bought in the summer? Here we go. Ryan Fraser on loan, Flynn Downs on loan, Mason Holgate on loan, Taylor Harwood-Bellis on loan, Joe Lumley free transfer, Ryan Manning free transfer. The two players that we signed permanently for fees last season were Shea Charles, 12 million euros, Ross Stewart, 10 million euros. That one might be Orsic by the end of it, because Orsic was like 5 mil. Imagine paying double that. Ooh. In the January, we loaned in Joe Rothwell and David Brooks. Okay. Let's have a look at who went out. Romeo Lavia, 62 million euros. Tino Livramento, 37.2 million euros. It was more than that, but that was a bit now. James Ward-Prowse, 34 million euros. Nathan Teller, 23.3 million euros. Mohamed Salisu, 15 million euros. Musa Gineppo, 3.5 million. Mislav Orsic, 2.4 million. Bella Kotchap with a 2 million loan fee. Duya Chaleta with a loan fee of 1.5 million. Paul Onuachu with a 1.5 million loan fee. We let Elianusi go on a free. We sold Ibrahim Diallo for a fee that for some reason is still unknown. Don't know how much we sold Diallo for. We let Lundalu go on a free. We loaned out Lianco, Perro, and Matthias Liz. We lost Caballero and Walcott to retirement. And then we loaned out Carlos Alcaraz in the January for a loan fee of nearly 4 million euros. It was good enough because it got us out of the league, frankly, and it was a building block. It was what you call a book balancing window, and we needed to do it with the drop. We needed to. There's no question they did the right thing in doing that because we dropped and we had to do it. So now to this season. In the summer, we signed Taylor Harwood-Bellis, 23 million euros. Flynn Downs, 17.8 million euros. Cameron Archer, 17.6 million euros. Mateus Fernandez, 15 million euros. Ben Brereton Diaz, 8.3 million euros. Yukinari Sugawara, 7 million euros. Nathan Wood, 3.5 million euros. Ronnie Edwards, 3.5 million euros. Ryan Fraser, free transfer. Charlie Taylor, free transfer. Adam Lallana, free transfer. Kairu Matsuki, undisclosed. Juan, undisclosed. Leslie Ogachukwu on loan. Maxwell Cornet on loan. Those were the summer signings. The January signings so far. 5 million euros for Joaquim Kai Sander. Free transfer for Wellington. Free transfer for Renato Takuaka. I apologise if I've got that wrong. And a loan for, most recently, Albert Gronbach. And that is also not including, apologies, Aaron Ramsdale, 21 million euros. Now, the players who left in the summer. Charlie Alcaraz, 18 million euros. Sekou Mara, 12 million. Lianco, 4.5 million. Duya Chaleta Sarr, 3.5. Roman Perro, 3.5. Free transfer out for Shea Adams and Stuart Armstrong. Matthias Liz, for some reason, still undisclosed. Shea Charles on loan. Sam Adozi on loan. Kairu Matsuki on loan. Juan on loan. And then we get to January. So this is where it's slightly embarrassing now. So the outgoings in January, we've got Maxwell Cornet's loan has been terminated. Ronnie Edwards has been loaned out. Ben Brereton Diaz has been loaned with an option to buy. And today we're looking at Charlie Taylor has had a loan accepted to go to Hull, but it's up to him if he goes because there's other options or he might want to explore other options. That's 4 players that you've signed in the summer window that you're shipping out in January. That is embarrassing. It's a public admission without admitting that you got it wrong. That's a public admission that you got it wrong. Oh, sorry. Got it wrong. Send them back. Get rid of them, loan them, sell them. Crazy. Who was responsible in the summer for that? It's all good saying it was Russell Martin's fault. Russell Martin signed this guy and Russell Martin this and he didn't do that and all that. I understand your frustrations at Russell Martin. I feel the same and I get it. But who allowed him? If it was him, we don't know if it was. If it was Russell Martin, who allowed him to make those decisions on his own? Because last season we had Jason Wilcox overseeing it. Someone who actually knows about football. You know, someone who's played for England. Someone who's won a Premier League with Blackburn. Like, the guy knows football. You know, he oversaw Man City's academy for however many years it was. Like, he's always been in football. It's in his blood. And you task Jason Wilcox at the beginning of last season. You want him to build your club. You choose a style of play, Jason. And you choose a manager, Jason, and we will get the players that you want. And we will have our recruitment staff working for you. He's fine with that. Absolutely fine. Lovely jubbly. Until it got to the end of the season and Man United came knocking on his door. You can't stop that. You can't. All right, we had it with Joe Shields. What was it? 4 or 5 weeks after the summer transfer window. First Sport Republic season, he's off. Chelsea knocked on his door. You can't stop people going at high level. We know this. We know this. We had it with Paul Mitchell. He was plucked from us. You're absolutely powerless to these big clubs coming in and slapping contracts on these people's laps because they can. So what's your backup plan? Who's responsible for the guy who's responsible? Well, we might have got that answer last week or the week before because Henrik Kraft was relieved of his duties. Was it Henrik Kraft? Is he a fall guy? I don't know. Lots of people like to hop on social media and they like to blame Rasmus Ankersen, although actually he's got nothing to do with transfers for us. He did in the January, which is why he gets so much flack. And I'm not saying he's the best. I'm not. But we have to look at it prospectively. From this season, he's been at Castepe, and they're in the European places. So, is it his fault? No. Who's responsible for the guy who's responsible? Because currently, we just upgraded from within. We said, Mark Bitcon, you can do it. So he's head of footballing operations. I know he was at a football club a while ago, which is fine, but he went to rugby and he had quite a period out of football and he's come back to football. So how much pressure is that for a guy? Oh, yeah, welcome back to football. By the way, we need to stay up this season and you're the guy responsible. What? No, first of all, no one's going to turn that job down because of the money and because it's the Premier League. No one's going to turn that job down. But why would you do that? Why would you put your trust in someone like that? Why would you not give him some help? Which now it looks like they've recognised because Dragan Solak has looked at the points and looked at the money he's not spent and the money he has spent and gone, oh gosh, I've got to step in now. I've got to do something. And he has. He stepped in. He's cleared Henrik Kraft of his positions at both Saints and Valenciennes, which is one of the other Sport Republic clubs that is owned along with Giuseppe. So he's no longer involved with either of Southampton or Valenciennes. And it looks like it's going to be Johannes Spors, who was head of the 777 group. The group is a shambles by the looks of it as a whole, but that's not down to him. I mean, he's worked at other clubs like Leipzig before and stuff like that. So it's not just the 777 group he's worked for. So, and I don't know a lot about him, but at least that it looks like Dragan Solak has found the guy that he would like to effectively shoulder all the responsibility. And if you're picking someone to do that, then you've got to trust them. You have to. Because it looks like, from what we can see, it looks like Solak's been sold a dream by a few entrepreneurs. Let's have it. And he's run with it. And after a few years, he's actually gone, you lot a pony. You're just not what this is nothing like what you promised me. So I've got to now step in and do something to protect his investment, which is absolutely fair enough. And I think he does have the club's best interests at heart, because it's also, if the club's doing well, he's doing well. So even if you're the most cynical Saints fan, you can't look at it honestly and say, "Oh, well, Dragan Solak's not done enough." You know, I think this is quite rare that stuff like this happens, but it's happened now. It's done. We are going to be getting he's not going to be called a sporting director. He'll be a technical director, but he will be working with Mark Bitcon going forward. So I suppose that's kind of Sport Republic in a nutshell. They've been an absolute basket case for 3 years, bar last season, which obviously was superb. You know, it's been a lot of nothingness. Let's not take last season away from them. And I don't like hearing people say, "Oh, well, we should have went up automatically." No one has the right to go up automatically. No one has the right to be where they are. You are where you are. Look at Man United. They don't deserve to be in the top half because they're Man United. They are where they are because they are what they are. Same with Tottenham. I've got no sympathy for clubs who have dropped down and just made constantly bad decisions and then gone, "Oh, but we deserve to be up there." If that's the case, why is Sheffield Wednesday not in the Premier League? Why have Forest only just come back up to the top? Because Forest are double European winners. And it's probably a bad example now because they're doing well this season. But for the past 20 odd years, bar the last couple, they've been lower leagues. There's countless clubs you could name in the lower divisions that have been at the heights. The season we came up, Wigan won the FA Cup and were playing in Europe the following season. They're League One now. We haven't won an FA Cup since '76. So does that mean Wigan deserve to be in the FA Cup final? And they deserve to? No, they deserve to be where they are because, unfortunately, that's just where they are. They're a reflection of what they are and the decisions that have been made at their club. It's not the fans' fault. It's just how it goes. It's football. So we didn't deserve to go up because we had this squad. We should have gone up. No. We went up on merit because we beat Leeds on the day. Fair and square. No bones about it. We beat them and it was a great day and you can't take that away from them. But Sport Republic have been a fucking shambles since. Their top flight decision making and their gambling ultimately will cost them a lot of money and cost us a lot of money if they don't buck their fucking ideas up. And it has to be quick. Look, regardless of where we are now, we're all just going to take this week by week. We're not staying up. It would take beyond the miracle. I mean, it would be, I don't even know. It would be the singular greatest escape of any team ever in the top flight. It would be, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Let it go. It's gone. I'm sure most of us have, but for anyone who needed to hear that, let it go. It's gone. It's dead. There's a very distinct possibility that we finish this season on less than 15 points, and in the next season, we finish on 100 plus points, which is mental. I'm not saying we will on either part, but I'm saying it's possible. And that's the difference in quality. I mean, Sheffield United and the rest of the Championship's gone mad. They've just signed Ben Brereton Diaz, who we think is dog pony. We think he is rubbish. And they've gone and signed him, and their fans are buzzing. And most of the league are saying, "Oh, well, Sheffield United are going up now." That's the difference we're talking about from Championship to Premier League. We could get rid of half. I'm telling you now, for even the biggest pessimist, we could get rid of half of our team now if we go down, including your Diblins and your Fernandes and your Ramsdales, and you could look at the players who will stay. That's enough to go up without making any signings. I'm telling you now, it is. But they will make signings because they have to, and I'm sure they'll do it. They'll get it right at some point. It will go right at some point. But now it has to be said, with the state of the club, it's a shambles on the pitch. It's a shambles. I've praised them endlessly when it comes to off the pitch. I think off the pitch, you can't question them. They've put the most money in that any owner's put in since the stadium's built. So there's no if, buts, and maybes there. Like, oh well, you know, they haven't invested X. What? No, they have. They've really made an effort off the pitch, and that is important. That shouldn't be understated and looked at. That is important for a bit of balance. It is, and if you want to see the big players, you need to drive your matchday revenue up. And you weren't going to drive your matchday revenue up without all the stuff that they put in now, because who on earth would want to go to St Mary's 2 to 3 hours earlier when we've got 6 points in the league and let alone spend any money there? Who would do that if there wasn't any of the stuff that there's out now, like all the family areas and the fan zones? Like, it's a place to go. You could even vent your frustrations, but if that wasn't there, what you're telling me, you just stand in the Northern car park for a couple of hours? And every penny that's spent in there before is going off the bottom line of the club. So it's so important that they've done that, and that shouldn't be overlooked and gone, oh well, you know, oh well done, well, at least we've got fan zones. No, shut your mouth. That's you just being entitled. Yes, things should be going better on the pitch, but don't shit on that. That's just really important to the bottom line. If you want to see things improve, stuff like that has to happen. End of story. So, you know, there's balance to be had, but overall, they've made it a disastrous situation for themselves. And if things don't improve quickly, they probably won't. Anyway, that's my rant over. Thank you very much for watching. If you're a Saints fan, or even if you're a football fan in general, please hit the subscribe button. Drop me a comment with your thoughts. I'll be really interested to hear what you guys are thinking. And if you're in the same situation as me, because I'm just at the end of my tether with it. Yeah, let me know if you like this, and drop a like, please subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.